Have you ever found yourself in a lecture just watching the minute hand on the clock slowly move forward instead of paying attention to the speaker? Sometimes it feels as if you're being bombarded with a verbal wall of text, and that time cannot pass by any faster. Not very pleasant, is it? That's because in this day and age we grow to expect certain things out of presentations. Not only should a presentation inform, but it should also hold our attention. And one of the best attention getters? Visual aids. They can demonstrate organized, easy-to-follow information that makes the presentation more interesting for the audience. In fact, the only presentations that I remember, and I mean really, truly remember, were the ones that I felt involved in. By using effective visual aids, you too can help your audience feel more connected so that they can develop a better understanding of your topic. So, what's the purpose of a visual aid? Well, according to Cheryl Hamilton, the author of Essentials of Public Speaking, visual aids have many benefits. First and foremost, they can speed comprehension and add interest. Since everyone learns differently, it is important to incorporate more than just the spoken word in order to gain attention from the audience. By allowing the audience to comprehend information faster, visual aids can also decrease presentation time. Thirdly, visual aids can improve speaker credibility as it can make a speaker seem more prepared or trustworthy. Lastly, they can improve audience memory and recall of content. Hamilton reported that audience recall was up to 18% better when visual aids were used than when they were not. So now, let's take a look at the different type of visual aids that Hamilton mentioned. The first type she listed, and one that we're all probably familiar with, was objects, models, and handouts. Objects can be simply shown to your audience from a distance or even passed around so that they can get more of a hands-on approach. If the object seems inappropriate for a visual aid, such as being too small, large, or dangerous, then one may decide to use a model instead. Handouts, like objects, can have a hands-on approach. However, audience members may become distracted if they're not utilized correctly. The next type of visual aids was flip charts and posters. These two types can set an informative yet fun and spontaneous mood. Moving on, we have marker boards and chalkboards, which have similar attributes to flipboards and to flip charts and posters, yet they have arguably more drawbacks since they can make speakers look less prepared or less professional, since the speaker tends to spend a lot of time with their back turned to the audience. Next, there's audio-visual aids, which these can include a clip from a film, a YouTube video, etc. These are great for adding interest and can easily demonstrate the speaker's point. And lastly, Hamilton mentioned computer-generated slides, which is easily the most popular type of visual aid. I know that I have spent many days watching PowerPoint presentations. While programs like these can be extremely useful, that doesn't mean that they're a cop-out. Slides must still be designed effectively, and in any case, every type of visual aid has its own type of benefits, and it has its drawbacks as well. So it's important to know which type is best suited for your own presentation. But simply having a visual aid is not going to do you any good. You must know how to effectively use one. So if I began dropping in unannounced visual aids, wouldn't that seem a bit confusing? What if they were covered in unorganized data? What about wild hues? What about strange objects? I mean, it all seems mind-boggling, right? That is because there's more to consider than just having visual aids. In an article entitled "Visual Aids Make Your Next Board or Staff Presentation Stand Out," Stephen Boyd reported certain elements to consider when choosing your visual aid. One must take into account the size of the visual aid. For example, it must be easily visible from every seat of the room in order to be considered an appropriate size. He also spoke of transitions, implying that an unannounced visual aid can make a presentation seem very choppy or hard to follow. Another element listed was color. The color scheme used, as well as the amount of contrast, can make a large statement. For example, it is reported that yellow is the most eye-catching color, while green is the least. Boyd also mentioned bullets, which can easily allow a reader to add emphasis to key points. Clarity and conciseness also have as big an impact as anything. Eleanor Lopez, author of The Art of Visual Aids, touched on this topic when she said, "Aim for simplicity." This helps with both the reader and the presenter to get through a presentation. Furthermore, you must practice, practice, practice. You must feel comfortable using a visual aid in order for the presentation to go as smoothly as possible. It is also essential to realize that while having an effective visual aid is very important, aid is the key word. What I mean by that is that it is not to replace key information, it is meant to assist it. There should be a clear purpose for every visual aid, and you do not need to force it, so when in doubt, leave it out. Again, you should carefully plan out your visual aid, consider type, color, size, and all aspects, as well as becoming well acquainted with it before introducing it to your audience. By doing so, you can help ensure the most successful presentation possible.